Hey everyone! Welcome back to our deep dive into Exodus. Last time, we left off with the Israelites facing unimaginable hardship under a new Pharaoh. The nation was crying out. Their suffering was immense. But today, in chapter 2, the camera zooms in. The wide-angle shot of a nation's pain narrows down to a tight close-up on one family, and one tiny baby who will change the course of history. This is the origin story of Moses, and it kicks off like a classic hero's journey. It all starts with a decree of death. Pharaoh, terrified of the growing Israelite population, has ordered all newborn Hebrew boys to be thrown into the Nile. Can you imagine the terror, the absolute despair of every expectant mother? In the midst of this horror, a Levite woman gives birth to a beautiful baby boy. For 3 months, she hides him, her heart probably pounding with every cry, every footstep outside her door. But a growing baby can't be hidden forever. So, she comes up with a desperate, faith-filled plan. She can't defy the order, but she can work within it. She weaves a basket out of papyrus reeds, seals it with tar and pitch to make it waterproof, and places her precious son inside. Then, she puts the basket among the reeds along the bank of the Nile. River, meant to be his grave, becomes his cradle. It's an act of incredible courage and profound trust. She's not just abandoning him. She's placing him in God's hands in the path of providence. And she stations his older sister, Miriam, nearby to watch and see what will happen. And what happens next is something straight out of a movie. Pharaoh's own daughter comes down to the Nile to bathe. She spots the basket, has her servant retrieve it, and opens it to find a crying baby. Ah! The text says she took pity on him, recognizing he was one of the Hebrew children. At that exact moment, Miriam, with perfect timing and incredible bravery, steps forward and asks, "Shall I go and get one of the Hebrew women to nurse the baby for you?" Pharaoh's daughter agrees. And who does Miriam bring back? Her own mother. It's just incredible. Not only is the baby saved from death, but his own mother is now being paid by the Egyptian palace to raise him. God's plan is so much more intricate and beautiful than we can ever imagine. He doesn't just solve the problem, he redeems it. Moses' mother gets to pour her love, her faith, and her heritage into him during his most formative years, all under the protection of the very household that wanted him dead. Pharaoh's daughter names him Moses, which means to draw out because she drew him out of the water. So Moses grows up in the lap of luxury, a prince of Egypt. He receives the finest education, training in military strategy, politics, and all the wisdom of the Egyptians. He has everything the world could offer. But something is stirring inside him. That Hebrew identity his mother instilled in him hasn't disappeared. One day, when he's grown, he goes out to see his own people and witnesses their suffering firsthand. He sees an Egyptian beating a Hebrew slave, and in a flash of rage, a surge of justice, he intervenes. He looks around, sees no one is watching, and he kills the Egyptian, burying him in the sand. Moses' heart is in the right place. He wants to defend his people. But his methods are his own. He's acting in his own strength, not in God's timing or God's way. The next day, he tries to break up a fight between two Hebrews, but his cover is blown. One of them snarls, "Who made you a ruler and a judge over us? K? Are you thinking of killing me as you killed the Egyptian?" The secret is out. Moses is terrified. When Pharaoh hears about it, he seeks to kill Moses, and Moses has no choice but to flee. He runs far away, all the way to the land of Midian. The prince of Egypt becomes a fugitive in the desert. He goes from the palace to the wilderness, from a position of power to a life of exile. It's there, sitting by a well, that he has another encounter, this time defending the 7 daughters of a priest of Midian from some shepherds. This act of righteousness leads to him being welcomed into the priest's home, and he eventually marries one of the daughters, Zipporah. Moses settles down. He becomes a shepherd, raising a family, living a quiet, anonymous life for 40 years. It seems like his destiny. His connection to his people is all in the past. But this is not the end of his story. It's the necessary preparation for it. God is stripping away the prince of Egypt, the self-reliant man of action, and is forging a humble shepherd who will learn to depend completely on him. The journey from the Nile to the palace, and from the palace to the wilderness, is all part of the training for the monumental task that lies ahead, leading God's people out of slavery. Thanks so much for joining me to explore Exodus chapter 2. It's a powerful story of rescue, identity, and preparation. If you got something out of this, please hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss our journey into chapter 3. It's a game changer. See you in the next one.